Hey guys, I'm going to give you a quick video on one-point perspective. So I'm going to do our demo here on the chalkboard. If things are a little bit warped, just know it's the way that the video is being shot, so it should look like fairly straight lines. I'm not going to use a ruler either, but you might want to use one in your demo. So with one-point perspective, the idea is that what we're trying to do is draw something that looks like it's going back into space. So I'm going to try to orient this towards the camera so it makes sense. If we're looking at this cube, what you can tell is that you can tell that this cube has some depth to it, that the two sides are going back away from you. So when you're drawing so that you want to make the illusion of depth, the idea is that you have to follow a certain rule and a way of drawing. And so that's what linear perspective is. So with one-point perspective, the idea is that you use it to draw something that's facing you so that you're kind of parallel to the face. So if you look at this box, if we were going to draw this box right now, you can't see the top or the bottom. Not quite, right? So it looks like it's just basically a square is the idea. If I lower it, you start to see the top of it. And if I bring it up, this is a little wonky in the camera, you start to see the bottom of that box. And so when you can no longer see the top or the bottom, it means that that thing is at your eye level. So when something is facing you, we're going to use one-point perspective. When you see the corner, so you can see the corner here, that's when you will use two-point perspective. So let's just do one-point perspective first. So on your paper, you're just going to practice drawing some pretend boxes. So I'll walk you through that. And then we'll move on to some other things. So I'm going to set this down. So let's say that this is, I want to make sure you can see it, that this is your sheet of paper that you're drawing on. So the first thing to do is just to draw a horizon line in there. So just draw a line in there. This represents our eye level or the horizon line. They both are interchangeable in this context. So on that horizon line, we're going to place a vanishing point. So somewhere on there, put a dot. We're just drawing a pretend space. If you were to go out into the real world and draw this, there are some other things you'd want to pay attention to, but we're just sort of inventing boxes, so it's fine. So in this space, I want you to draw maybe 4 different squares or rectangles, just as a way to practice. So I'm going to draw them, and you can do this on your paper. And draw some close to the horizon line, maybe draw some on the horizon line, some above the horizon line, and you can make, anything you want, but just try to experiment with a variety of different shapes and sizes of rectangles or squares. So in order to make these look like cubes, the rule is that the any side that needs to look as if at some point it would touch this vanishing point. So all parallel sides need to meet that vanishing point. So I'm going to draw in color so that you can see the orthogonal lines. So these lines are called orthogonal lines. So if I wanted to draw this one, if I just draw to the corners, like this, that'll give me some depth. And then we're just making this up, so we're just deciding how big or how small these boxes are. So now if I draw a line going across and a line going down, we end up with what looks like a cube going back into space. So the rule with perspective, with one-point perspective, is that there are only 3 types of lines you can have. You can have vertical lines, you can have horizontal lines, or you can have lines that go back to the vanishing point. That's it. So if they don't do one of those 3, they're wrong. So if we practice drawing some of the other ones, let's do this guy. I can't see the top or the bottom because it's on my eye level. So I just need one vertical here. I'll kind of finish that off for you. Now when you're doing these, if you want to go ahead and erase orthogonal lines, which are these orange lines, you certainly can. So you can kind of see what that starts to look like. So on your paper, practice doing all of these different ones to see what they would look like. So these are the orthogonal lines. And then I just need a horizontal and a vertical to finish off those boxes and make them look like boxes. This one, we're only going to get the top because it is lined up, just happens to be lined up a vanishing point. So it sort of looks like that, okay? So practice drawing a few of these and just see how it works out, how close they are or how far they are from the horizon line and how they line up with the vanishing point. You'll notice that they look different depending on it. So remember the rule, vertical, horizontal, or to the vanishing point. That's it. That's the only way that you can draw those.